Hi, I'm Pam Bash, Director of Development at Code the Dream. Welcome to Code the Dream's Fall 2022 Demo Day. We hope that you will have a fun, informative, and inspirational hour with us. Over the past 7 years, Code the Dream has grown from a local North Carolina nonprofit with in-person classes to a national model offering virtual classes, mentorship, and hands-on development experience to students in 30 states. It's an incredible achievement, but we didn't get here by ourselves. So before we begin, Code the Dream staff, board, and students would like to thank the many funders, donors, partners, and volunteers for your generous support to ensure that all voices are heard and represented in tech and in the innovation that is being brought to our communities. None of this would have been possible without you. So thank you very much. For today's program, we will highlight the intersection of tech and civic engagement. We will hear from a staff member who was inspired to delve a little deeper into that relationship. You'll also meet a partner trying to bring together policymakers and scientists. We'll share demos of apps addressing different areas of technology and civic engagement. And you'll meet some of our apprentices as they share their inspiring stories and journeys on becoming software developers. In 2021, Code the Dream trained over 126 students in software development. And this year, we're more than doubled that number. Some of you may be familiar with our educational training model, but for those joining us today who might not be, I want to give just a quick overview of what we do, and even more importantly, why. So imagine living in a low-income area where educational or job resources are limited. Or perhaps you're just trapped in a dead-end job. Or maybe you were educated and working in your home country, but had to immigrate to the US and can't work in your field of expertise. How can we harness the potential and change the trajectory of people and communities that have traditionally been marginalized, underrepresented, or under-resourced? Our mission at Code the Dream is to create opportunity that changes lives, build technology that benefits our communities, and support the diversity that drives a more just and innovative world. Code the Dream starts with 6 to 12 months of totally free intensive classes covering the fundamentals of software development. However, that's just the first step. From there, students can move on to get their first real-world experience as paid apprentices in Code the Dream Labs, our in-house dev shop, where they get hands-on experience building real apps and software platforms for other nonprofits, businesses, or organizations that address the many racial and social issues faced by communities in need, and that many of our apprentices may know firsthand. Key to our unique model is Code the Dream's vision of a world in which tech innovation comes from all of us and benefits all of us. As some of you were waiting for us to begin, you may have also read our value statements around growth, community, inclusion, and impact. So before I bring on our first guest, I want to highlight our statement around impact, which is that meaningful change happens when we create equitable opportunities for individuals and also address systemic challenges in our world. On that note, let's talk a bit about tech and civic engagement with Justin Laidlaw, Code the Dream's engagement manager.
Hey, Pam.
Welcome. Hi, Justin. Welcome.
Thanks for having me.
Can you first tell us a little bit about yourself?
My name is Justin Laidlaw. I'm the engagement manager here at Code the Dream. I studied journalism at North Carolina Central University, where I got my bachelor's degree and have worked in communications for a number of years.
Great. Well, this summer we launched a tech and civic engagement campaign. Can you tell us a little bit what inspired you to come up with this?
Yeah, so A lot of the work that we do here at Code the Dream revolves around this idea of technology and civic engagement and community, working on technology, as you mentioned, that benefits all of us. So I was just curious about what other organizations or other people might be exploring that same idea, that same relationship between technology and civic engagement, and wanted to, learn more about it to share with our audience.
Can you give us some insights on the people you interviewed or engaged with and what they had to say?
Yeah, I talked to a lot of great folks, and one in particular who's based here in Durham, actually, where Code the Dream's office is. Her name is Sonia Ebron, and she co-founded a company called Courtroom 5 that helps folks navigate the legal system. And the reason that she started the business or co-founded the company was through her own experience with the legal system, some of the friction that she experienced. And so it was just interesting to hear her story and the fact that she saw this problem, faced this problem herself, and decided to make it easier for folks after her to not have the same struggles. And that was a common theme throughout the folks that I talked to, that they were really thinking about their community and how could they benefit their community.
Yeah, it's interesting how a lot of people are motivated by their own sort of personal journeys. I'm curious, what type of tech do you think can best serve as a vehicle for connecting communities and improving lives?
Yeah, I think technology is a tool like any other, and so really it's about how we want to use those tools. Until our robot AI overlords take over, we still have control over how we use this technology. And so a lot of the work that we do, obviously at Code the Dream, around education and teaching folks those tools is a big part of it. Also on the infrastructure side, I think providing things like high-speed internet in communities that are lacking, that allows them to tap into those resources in a more substantial way. And then, again, providing training for folks so that whether they're using technology for their education or for their job or accessing healthcare, that they have the knowledge and the resources to be able to do that in a way that helps them in their lives.
And at Code the Dream, we're definitely building technology that will help a lot of people. How did you find the people that you interviewed? And actually, I'm going to interrupt for a second. We do encourage people to ask questions in the chat. So if you have any, please post them, and I am happy to ask Justin. But let's continue. Yes. So how did you find the folks that you interviewed?
Yeah, so some of it came out of partners of ours here at Code the Dream. We're lucky to partner with folks who are doing similar work or who are invested in seeing communities benefit from the use of technology. And so tapping into those resources, also thinking about who in our public sector is working on this issue. There are folks like the U.S. Digital Corps nationally that are trying to increase the diversity in the tech workforce. There's a department right here in North Carolina, the Office of Digital Information Technology, that is working on trying to provide more high-speed broadband internet to folks in rural areas. So it's a combination of thinking about who are we already working with, but also what's going on in other sectors of the economy to really kind of round out that list.
Great. Well, thank you, Justin. Don't see any questions in the chat. So, so thank you. Now I'd like to introduce our next guest. And our next guest is Andrew George. Andrew is a Sigma Psi Civic Science Fellow, and he has a very specific goal. And his goal is where everyone has the opportunity to be extraordinary through innovative thinking, creative solutions, and by putting people first. Across Andrew's career, he has built relationships between federal agencies, state legislators, students, academic institutions, and nonprofits to bring about change. Code the Dream is thrilled to be working with Andrew on his project, CivicCo. So welcome, Andrew, and thank you for joining us. I know we're excited about working on this project, but can you please tell our guests more about it?
Thanks so much. I'm happy to be here, and thanks for the chance to talk about the project. Happy to. So the goal for CivicCo is to solve a very specific problem. As a scientist myself, we struggled to understand how or be aware of many of the ways that we can engage in the public policy process. And when we try to do that, or even when I tried to do that as a grad student, or even as a scientist or a consultant, we're directed towards a lot of advocacy efforts or legislative focus, things that take a lot of time and effort, but there are a lot of more opportunities. And so the goal for CivicCo is to develop a digital platform that helps tailor content and information and resources towards a scientist who wants to get engaged in the policy process at the state level. So allowing them to see that there's more than just the legislative branch, a little bit of a civics lesson around the executive, legislative, judicial, and all the exciting ways that they can be involved and bring their expertise, because there's a lot of need, and a lot of scientists want their science to be societally impactful and relevant. And this is an opportunity to connect both their interests and hopes about being involved with the information and the opportunities that are hard to find and are not really in one place. So that's the goal.
Thank you, Andrew. Want everyone to sit with that for a bit. We will bring Andrew back to address some questions. So again, I encourage you to post any questions you have in the chat. But now I want to introduce Alena H, who is one of Code the Dream's apprentices, and she is working on CivicCo's app. Good morning, Alena.
Yeah, good morning. Thank you.
And I think it is morning for you because you're in Colorado, correct?
Yes, correct. I'm in Colorado.
Well, thank you for getting up this morning. Alena, could you tell us a little bit about yourself?
Sure. So hello, everyone. My name is Alena, and I moved to USA from Belarus. When I moved, I had a bachelor's degree and years of experience as environmental engineer, but still I really struggled to restart my career in US. At some point of my job search, I found out about Upwardly Global, and while they were coaching me how to land a job in my professional field, I met a lot of people who already switched their careers to career in IT. And I decided that I might be a good fit for this field because I always had these technical skills and I would be able to apply my background. So I started to take online classes and Coursera and Udemy. And at some point, my coach introduced me to Code the Dream. And there, my journey began. I started my first JavaScript class in March 2021, then React class, then Practicum, and now I'm an apprentice at Code the Dream.
And we are very happy to have you, Alena. You mentioned you have switched careers, as some of your friends have. So what are some of the obstacles that you faced in doing that?
Main obstacle, I would say, to be a successful developer, you have to learn a lot and continuously. And for me, I'm not really good with time management. So I really get excited about new technologies and skills I want to acquire. And so this list, more of this classes I want to take is growing rapidly. And sometimes I just don't finish it, and because I switch to another one. So I'm working on to being more dedicated and focused And also I working on my communication skills. I want to improve it.
Well, you're doing a wonderful job now.
Thank you.
Can you tell us, what is it like being an apprentice at Code the Dream Labs?
As an apprentice at Code the Dream, I have a real opportunity to learn on real life projects. I have a chance to learn from experienced developers as our seniors developers and volunteers, whom I really appreciate. And the environment at Code the Dream is very kind and supportive, and community is diverse and comfortable. So I get all the support I could need. I grow in my technical skills by learning new technologies and applying it. And also I'm improving my soft skills. I'm really grateful that I already worked on different projects. Each one was unique and it taught me a lot. I like the progress I do and how I grow professionally and personally with Code the Dream.
Wonderful. So now you're at Code the Dreams as an apprentice. What now do you envision for your future?
I'm pretty positive now, and I like to think about my future because now when I found a profession which I really like and excited to grow in, and with all that experience that I get as an apprentice, I know that I will land a good job and will be able to support my family. Also, I want to add that I see volunteering and mentoring a part of my life in future, because when I went through Upwardly Global and Code the Dream, I met so many people, a lot of people who are so generous in sharing their time and knowledge. So I believe my turn is next.
And we would thank you for that. And yes, Code the Dream definitely understands the value of volunteers. As I mentioned earlier, they are key to our success. So Alena's primary project is working on CivicCo. So we've met the creator of the project, and now we've met one of the people working on it. So I think it's time now to have a little demo of CivicCo.
CivicCo app is to help policymakers make decisions and laws that are more informed by science, and also to connect scientists and policymakers. I'm a mid-career professional who is interested in executive branch and policy for science in the state of North Carolina. Completing the onboarding section builds me a custom roadmap. From there, I can explore my options and learn how I can engage myself in things pertaining to the executive branch and policy for science that are relevant to a mid-career professional. For instance, I'm interested in advisory committees. I can hover over this node and find more details, as well as interventions and learn more button, which if I click it, I will be prompted on a new page with details where I can find overview section, helpful skills to have, case studies, and how first steps to take on this path. Back on the roadmap, I can continue my investigation. I can turn on all of the whole sectors to focus on, and each node will have separate page with details. Online page, different classes and courses to take can be found on Connect page, more details about different opportunities, and maybe share with your friends. We tried to do the map mobile friendly. For this reason, we switch from landscape view to vertical view, as you can see it now. Our app is fully responsive. It works on mobile, tablets, and any screen size. It was a little bit about CivicCo app. Thank you for your time.
Wow, this is really exciting. And yes, we have brought Andrew back with us. We have some questions in the chat. First one for you, Andrew. How can people access CivicCo?
Yeah, so people will be able to access CivicCo once we get a little bit more content in the nodes, but they will be able to access it just through the web, right? So it's a web-based application that once we have the link fully live, which we're not quite there, but we're very close, they'll be able to access it through that.
Great. Alena, how big is the team working on this? And can you explain some of the specific skills you've been using to work on the project?
Yeah, I work with Elizabeth. And before I joined the project, it was a team of two, Elizabeth and Osvaldo, who left as a co-dream because he was lucky to find a job. And skills I use, at least for me, when I joined the project, it was already in the middle. So very, very helpful for me was like to go, like I did a lot of debugging, just to go through the code line by line and learn how it works. It helped me to finish finish a lot of new features and improve a lot of code lately. So I think it's like main feature, a lot of research, debugging, and continuously learning about the project and how we can improve it.
So this app is in development. Andrew, can you give us an example of how you envision CivicCo being used in the future?
Yeah, so as you saw, there's a couple components that were highlighted, one of which is the roadmap itself, right? So there's not a central location for a lot of these organizations. And there's a number of science policy related organizations that are coming up and developing these trainings and workshops and events and opportunities, but they're all doing it very independently. And they're not necessarily covering the entirety of the policymaking space, right? So they're very focused in the advocacy world. And so one of the things we hope is that we can show them there's more places they can develop resources and tools and opportunities that they can start providing to people. And then also as scientists, regardless of how much time you have or your availability, you'll be able to find something that is meaningful to you to get engaged with for policy. So there's doing all of this work in your local area. You know, North Carolina has a ton of academic institutions that do hundreds of millions of dollars of research every year, and it would be amazing if that was better connected to the policies that we see here too. So ideally, as a scientist, anything you're interested in, you'll be able to find a place here that fits your skill set. It isn't all just talking to legislators. You can write policy analysis. You can engage or serve as an expert witness in the judicial branch. So there's so much opportunity.
Great. Well, thank you, Andrew, for helping us to try and engage more. Thank you, Alena, for working on the CivicCo app. So I want to thank you both for coming. At Code the Dream, we not only look to partner on the development of innovative projects like CivicCo, but we look for partners who can introduce us to the wonderfully diverse communities of people interested in launching careers in tech. Our value statement about inclusion is at the root of this initiative, because we believe that equity is possible when everyone is able to contribute to their fullest potential. But that only happens when we value diverse voices and lived experiences. Our co-executive director, Daisy Magnus-Aryitey, will speak a little bit more about some of the wonderful partnerships helping to ensure that our community is inclusive of all voices. Daisy.
Thank you, Pam, and thank you, everybody. This is a timely moment to discuss partnerships and how deeply we at Code the Dream believe that developing patterns of inclusion and collaboration is critical to a thriving community. It's timely because a year ago this week, we formally transitioned our leadership structure from having one executive director to having two. A year ago this week, we made that purposeful decision to shift away from traditional power structures to a co-executive director model, a model that centers cooperation, lived experience, and creative problem solving. It allows us to be in a better position to propose and advance the solutions that drive a more just and innovative world. So our commitment to collaboration is illustrated not only in our structure, but also in the partnerships that we've built with organizations around the country. And these are organizations that are working to connect people from marginalized backgrounds to technology careers. Over the past several years, we've been honored to work with organizations such as Code Tenderloin, G-House Code, and Upwardly Global. So Code Tenderloin is a nonprofit in San Francisco's Tenderloin neighborhood. Their mission is to integrate the existing communities into the quickly growing tech economy. Similarly, G-Code House is doing the same kind of work, but on the other side of the country. They are a Boston-based, community-centered organization that provides technical training, as well as a co-living, learning, and working space for women and non-binary people of color. Finally, Upwardly Global. Upwardly Global, like Code the Dream, is an online program that works with participants all over the country. They are a nonprofit that is working to eliminate employment barriers, specifically for recent immigrants and refugee professionals. So participants from all three of these nonprofits have successfully completed Code the Dream classes and apprenticeships, ultimately launching careers in tech. At Code the Dream, we deeply value being a good partner to these innovative organizations. Ultimately, we believe that being good partners allows us to develop and demonstrate new patterns of collaboration and community, all in furtherance of economic justice and inclusion. The Durham-based writer and activist Adrienne Marie Brown, in their book Emergent Strategies, puts it this way: when we speak of systemic change, we need to move from the micro to the macro level. We must create patterns that cycle upward. At Code the Dream, our goal always is to create patterns that will cycle upward, patterns that will impact individuals, shape communities, and drive systemic change. A few minutes ago, we heard from Alena, who came to CTD through our partner, Upwardly Global. So at this time, I'm delighted to introduce Munir Nuristani. Munir is a CTD Labs apprentice and also an Upwardly Global alum. Welcome, Munir.
Thank you, Daisy.
Can you tell us a little bit about yourself?
Sure. My name is Munir Nuristani, and I'm from Afghanistan. I'm a husband and father to two great kids. And my background is in security management, and I used to work as a security and risk management officer for different organizations, including the U.S. Armed Forces in Afghanistan. 6 years ago, when I immigrated to the United States, I realized that my background was not a good fit for the job market here. So after talking with my family and friends, I decided to change my career and transition to tech. So I started enrolled in an online college and started taking online classes, and all the while supporting my family.
Wow. So you were taking online classes. Why did you decide to apply then to CTD?
So I was looking for opportunities to transition. While the college is a good start, but it takes a longer period to complete that transition. My advisor at Upwardly Global knew that I was looking for opportunities, so she informed me about the upcoming introduction class with the Code the Dream, and she told me to look into it and see if it's a good fit for me. So I registered for this class, and the first requirement for the introduction to programming was a short JavaScript course. And once I completed that course, I knew that it was what I wanted, and I enjoyed doing and learning.
Excellent. So that was the learning portion, and now you're an apprentice at Code the Dream Lab. What's it like to be an apprentice?
As my colleague Alena mentioned before me, so as an apprentice at the Code the Dream Labs, we get a lot of opportunities to learn and grow. The growth mentality and Code the Dream Labs is incomparable. So I can express my ideas without hesitation. And the project managers and leads are there already and eager to help in apprentices all through their learning journeys. Meanwhile, they also encourage us to take initiative and propose solutions. The things and concepts that I have learned during the apprenticeship is uncountable. I have learned about communication. I have learned about presentation skills and project management skills, and much, much more. The apprenticeship instills the mentality of learning and growing daily into apprentices.
Oh, so it sounds like you are being stretched in the apprenticeship. It's certainly an intensive but supportive environment, hopefully. What is the most rewarding thing about working at CTD Labs?
To be honest, it's really difficult to pick one thing. There are so many amazing things about being apprentice at the Code the Dream. But if I had to choose one, it's like the satisfaction, gratification, that joy and gratification that you get after finding a solution for a problem. Here at the Code the Dream Lab, there are numerous eager, enthusiastic individuals who are ready to help apprentices find solutions. They will give you a lot of information and guidance and direct you to find the solution, but they will not rob you of the gratification and satisfaction that you get to solve the problem. All the while, they will guide you, they will support you, and they will definitely not make you feel dumb for not knowing things. I think another thing that I would like to mention about the Code the Dream is the amount of inspirational and engaged individuals in the ranks of Code the Dream. There are individuals who are sacrificing every day that disadvantaged communities are part of and represented in tech world, just like me.
Munir, you've come so far and you've accomplished so much in the 6 years since you immigrated from Afghanistan. What do you see in the future for yourself?
I believe that Code the Dream has made me capable of taking any challenge in my field, and probably I will face them in the future. But I want to give back to the community. And I believe that tech is part of our daily lives, and it's increasingly becoming part of our daily lives. But on the other hand, the tech is not so inclusive. So just like here, the Code the Dream, where we come from different backgrounds, different identities, ages, and culture, my vision is to create apps or platforms that is inclusive to all people, regardless of their age, gender, race, and language or cultural beliefs. So they can all access tech equally.
Excellent. Thank you so much, Munir.
Thank you, Daisy and Munir. We actually have a few questions from the chat. I'm going to start with you, Munir. What is the typical day or week of a Code the Dream apprentice?
That's a very good question. So we get to work on the real life projects, and then we have tasks to complete. So we have the sprints. We are using the agile methodology. So we have sprints, and then we have to accomplish tasks. And then we have daily stand-ups, and where we discuss our problems, ongoing problems, and what we are proposing to solve them. And if we need support, that's where we ask them. Other than that, we just work on our projects and do pair programming, which is a wonderful aspect of apprenticeship as well, where we code and another apprentice looks at our code, and then we code together, and then one person codes and the other person tells them. So it's quite a really nice experience, and a week is normally doing the same thing, like working with code and solving problems.
Thank you. A question for you, Daisy. Does Code the Dream require a college degree to participate in its programs?
Oh, I like this question. The answer is no. We do not require a college degree to participate. We want to be as open as possible and to create those pathways to opportunity. And so we don't require any college degree.
And I think the last one for you, Daisy. How do you find the partners? What kind of partners are you looking for? And how best can people connect Code the Dream to potential?
Yes, we look for partners that are doing similar work and serving similar populations. And so partners that want to connect people from marginalized backgrounds to technology careers, and folks that are providing wraparound services as well. We get a lot of our partnerships kind of word of mouth. People reach out to us, and we're always eager to see how we can support their work and really build something together. And so if you are part of an organization that you feel like would be great for Code the Dream to connect with, or if you know of such an organization, you can reach out to me directly, or you can reach out to Lori as well. We'd love to have those conversations and see how we can support other organizations that are doing this good work.
Well, thank you both, Daisy and Munir, for joining us and sharing your story, Munir, and also Daisy, information about becoming a partner with Code the Dream. As people know, our goal is to launch tech careers. And we are extremely proud that about 90% of our apprentices go on to get jobs in the tech industry, working as software developers, business analysts, project managers, and many other types of tech-related jobs. But we're also more than thrilled when they choose to continue their journey with us. So now I want you all to meet a former apprentice and current CTD staff developer and mentor, Chuck Anderson. Welcome, Chuck.
Hi, thanks everyone. I'm Chuck Anderson, a full stack developer. I live in Garner, North Carolina, and I started doing web development with Code the Dream in 2018.
So, as I mentioned, a lot of our apprentices go on and launch their careers at other companies. So why did you choose to become a developer at Code the Dream?
I choose to work for Code the Dream because of the people. The staff is an amazing group of people who make me feel appreciated and respected, and our students are bright, ambitious, hard workers who show growth and continuous improvement. I also feel like I can make a real impact with hands-on learning and community-driven applications.
Wonderful. So actually, how did you find out about Code the Dream?
So I had gone back to take computer science classes at Wake Tech Community College, and one of my professors read an email from Daisy offering free classes with the possibility of an apprenticeship.
Mm-hmm. And can you tell us a little bit about the app that you're working on?
Sure. I'm working on an app called Upstate, and I think a lot of us would agree that keeping up with government legislation can be difficult and probably seems impossible. Some large organizations and nonprofits can hire lobbyists for this, but what about the mid-sized or small nonprofits serving marginalized and low-income communities? How can they find out about and track new or existing legislation concerning things like landlord-tenant issues, changes to public benefits, or provisions that might take away rights? Upstate is an app that tracks and offers transparency to local legislation by giving organizations better access to key legislative information by providing up-to-the-minute updates on all new and amended proposed legislation at the NC General Assembly, including newly introduced bills, hearings, amendments, and votes. So now let's see how it works.
Hello, and thank you for watching this demo for Code the Dream's Upstate app. Upstate is an app that's been under development for nearly 5 years and can be found at app.keepupstate.com. Upstate is a user's portal that allows someone to easily get information about bills, meetings, legislators, and generally what's going on in the North Carolina legislative branch. The user arrives at their main dashboard, which displays upcoming calendar events and bill information, and a search feature to search for anything related to a bill. From the dashboard, users can begin to follow the bills that interest them. Then, in the My Bills section, a user can see a centralized collection of the bills that are important to them. Each bill can be tagged with keywords and attach a note that can be referenced later. Users can also sign up for email and text alerts. Upstate also displays information about bills, including bill versions, as it passes through the legislative process. It can even complete the tedious task of comparing different versions and show a line-by-line comparison of changes that were made. Starting in the spring of 2023, Upstate will release a brand new transcription feature. This will allow users to see a monthly view of the General Assembly, Chamber floor, and committee meetings. These meetings can be found through a monthly calendar, or through an archive page that can be searched and filtered by title, location, or date. Each meeting that's available online through the NC Legislative website is recorded and transcribed to be referenced later. The transcription page contains an audio file and the transcribed text from the meeting. That text can be easily searched for keywords the user can scroll through each matched phrase to find the one that they're looking for, and then once they found it, clicking on any word will start the audio at that exact moment.
Occupations, jobs in North Carolina.
This can save hours of sitting in meetings and listening to playback to find a single topic or quote. Upstate is a great tool for anyone involved in state politics. It can help keep users up to speed with local legislation. Thank you for watching our presentation, and I'd like to invite you to visit our site at app.keepupstate.com.
Thank you for the great demo, Chuck. We have a couple of questions, some about the app, but I'm going to start with you. Someone wants to know, what is the most rewarding experience in your journey as a developer?
So I think probably just it's an ongoing process of improvement and just reaching goals that I set and just continually getting better, and then also being able to share that with people as they come through the program and just people I interact with.
I have a couple of questions about the app. How does Upstate get information about bills? Who provides it?
So Upstate, we get the data directly from the state government website, and we scrape that information, some of it as frequently as every 10 minutes. Other platforms go through a third-party data aggregator, and they may only update once per day at the end of the day.
Actually, that brings up another question. So are there other lobbying apps that do the same thing? And how is Upstate differently? I think one of them, as you just mentioned, is the timing, how it is updated constantly. Are there other differences?
Yeah, so there are other apps out there that do little bits and pieces of what Upstate does, but none are as comprehensive. So we mentioned we get our data directly from the state government website, as well as the frequency, so you get a more up-to-the-minute updates. And then one other thing is that we've built NC's first and only committee meeting archive, which includes searchable transcripts. And so there is another service that hosts the audio files and emails them, but there's no other searchable transcript service like Upstate.
And is the data pertaining only to North Carolina or to every state legislature?
Yes, Upstate is just for North Carolina.
So how can individuals or organizations interested in North Carolina legislature, how can they access the app?
You can get information at start.keepupstate.com. You can always schedule a demo at start.keepupstate.com/schedule a demo. You can visit the app at app.keepupstate.com, or you can reach out directly to Cody Hill at cody@keepupstate.com or Ricky Lung at ricky@codethedream.com or .org. I'm sorry.
Great, and I think we can post most of that information in the chat for people. Well, thank you, Chuck. all of this wouldn't be possible without our amazing community of students and volunteers. So thank you for bringing these wonderful apps to life. Thank you for our innovative partners. And of course, to our students and apprentices. In addition to working directly with partners, we do extensive outreach and engage with audiences on social media, don't we, Justin?
We do indeed. Yeah, for folks who are interested in participating in that, we're on the social platforms that you see on the screen here. We share a variety of things out through our social networks, updates about Code the Dream, stories about our students and apprentices and staff, class application information, things about our partners. So there's a lot of information there on our social media profile. So definitely follow us there. We love when folks share out that information as well within their networks to help us get our information in front of the right folks so that more people can participate in Code the Dream. So definitely follow us and share that stuff out.
Great. And besides social media, there are lots of other ways to get involved with Code the Dream. Justin mentioned, and I encourage you to read about some of the incredible volunteers on our blog. The only way that Code the Dream has been able to expand and grow is due to the many volunteers who give their time and skills. Volunteers, software developers serve as class mentors, project coaches, and workshop leaders. We also have company-sponsored teams offering panels and trainings. If you're looking to have a meaningful experience while sharing your expertise, please join us as a volunteer, or please invite us to talk about Code the Dream with your colleagues or ERGs. Check out all the opportunities at Code the Dream, and you'll see that you'll see the site on the screen. It's codethedream.org /volunteer/opportunities. And we welcome the opportunity to be connected with corporate HR departments to discuss how we can be an employee pipeline. But of course, it all starts with the students. So if you are an aspiring software developer or know someone who is, please apply to join one of our classes. I think, as you've heard from Munir and Alena, we've tried to create a wonderful sense of community, and we encourage people to apply. Interested students should check us out on our website at codethedream.org /classes to sign up to be notified about our 2023 class applications. You can also support Code the Dream by contracting with us to build your next app. And that's at codethedream.org /services. As you can tell, we have worked on a variety of different projects, and we are constantly looking to do things. We are looking to address issues of racial and social justice. So please let us know if you have any projects. And another way, we do ask that if you can, please donate to Code the Dream. We've made it very easy for you to make a one-time or monthly sustaining donation by going to the address on the screen, or you can click on the QR code on the slide. Again, we are extremely grateful to everyone for showing your support by attending Demo Day. We hope that you've enjoyed being with us as much as we've enjoyed seeing all of you, and for allowing us into your homes or offices to share our experiences and projects with you. Again, we thank our funders, volunteers, partners, donors, supporters, and everyone else who makes it possible for Code the Dream to continue to give people the opportunity to gain skills that can totally change their lives. We hope everyone has a wonderful week and look forward to seeing you in the spring for our next Demo Day. So thank you all for coming.